Hey, what's up everybody? How's it going? Today is Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. And past couple of days, I've been thinking about this one thing. The future of graffiti. You know, I'm sitting here talking about, after talking about the 180th Street and the 2s and the 5s and jumping around and, just thinking back, and what I was doing back then is not what's going on now. So when people ask me the future of graffiti, it's been dead. It died in 1989 when the subways died. Honestly, yeah. Graffiti died when the MTA died, and so many writers looked at it that way and stopped writing. As far as it goes with writing in the streets and all that stuff, it was more just a fuck around type of a thing. I really never really took it that serious. It's almost like he's still out there. Like what I was saying earlier on, when I was in these group homes, I get in trouble with the law when I was a younger 15, 16 years old and stuff. You go to Spofford, then they put you in these group homes. And most of these group homes, like Hawthorne, I was in Hawthorne, Cedar Knolls, Grasslands, you had Lincoln Hall, you had all these different group homes, and they were all up in Westchester, most of them. So if you fucked up, if you were a bad boy in any of the 5 boroughs, in some situations, even if you were a bad girl, some of these places were co-ed, you would wind up going to these group homes. Normally on 18 months is the longest they'd be able to hold you. And it would be normally on a PINS petition, people in need of supervision. That means your parents are unable to take care of you. They're fucking up, man. They're not keeping their eye on you, so to say. So if you keep getting in trouble with the police and your parents do nothing about it, they turn around and pretty much tell your parents, you suck at being a parent. We're going to take your fucking kid and show them how it's done. And yeah, those are like the beginning of like little gladiator schools, so to say. But yeah, they're pretty rough. From my understanding, like I said, I never really been to prison. I couldn't hold the job I have if I did. I've been to Rikers Island for 1 month, so I've been to jail, but I don't think I've experienced anything horrid in there at all. I had no problems at all in Rikers Island, like I've explained. I've had a lot of problems in youth centers, juvenile detention centers. Them shits were crazy. Anyway, getting back to graffiti. Now, when I got out of those places, I remember taking the trains down and stuff, and my mother went up to visit me once. And she wasn't allowed to come back up after that. She went up there drunk and was yelling and screaming at people. She made some racial remarks to certain people, my mother, and was not allowed to go back up there. So, yeah. Anyway, when I got released from there, actually I just pretty much left on my own at one point, but with this girl Nancy, who lives in the town up there, and I would write on the Metro North train tracks that would go up to Westchester, Valhalla, all through Grand Central Station. Like I was explaining about this girl Nancy and them, I knew her very well, like the original mole people. And a lot of them were actually teenage runaways that just didn't want to go to the Covenant Home. The Covenant Home was run by this guy, Father Ritter, who was a priest that was later on accused of pedophilia, I guess. I don't know, some of these people could have been of age, but yeah, he wasn't doing the religious thing, I guess would be the way to put it. So a lot of these people would just sleep in Grand Central Station, beg for money. Crack, cocaine didn't hit the street yet, but it was still other drugs, and just a lot of them had drug habits and shit, whether it was heroin or whatever. Cocaine, you didn't really have no cokeheads because coke's expensive. So for you to be a cokehead, you would have to have money, and to have money, you would have to have a roof over your head. So these people are normally like real garbage pail type drugs that get addicted to them. Pills weren't even a big thing back then, so I guess 90% of these people were dope fiends. And she wrote a book. I hung out with her a lot. And she lived down there in Grand Central Station. So did a lot of people that also left these group homes that I was talking about up in Westchester and stuff. These juvenile centers, they get released, they just kind of run around the streets. They don't go back, they get a home visit, they run around, they wind up staying there at Grand Central Station. So I was pretty well plugged in with them. And after getting out of Hawthorne, I'd write graffiti to the point where all the trains, the Metro North, the New Haven line, you could not go up to Westchester or fucking even Connecticut for that matter without passing an RD tag. And I did that on purpose for the simple reason I knew all the bad boys and girls that were up there and coming down. They're going to see that shit and be like, yo, look at that fucking Rob, that fucking RD, yo, that's the shit. You got me? So I wrote graffiti for reasons like that when it came to writing in the streets. Yeah, I mean, that was early on, too. That was early, like I said, 14, 15 years old. I believe I was first put in away on a pins petition. 13 years old, I believe, yeah. 13 years old. I was at Spofford, yeah. 13, 14, no, 14 years old I went to Spofford. But I did go to group homes up at 13. Let me think, but that wasn't through Spofford. That was my mother releasing me to the court system, and the court system sending me up to Grasslands, I believe that was, which is technically like a mental institution. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a mental institution for children. Yeah, that's what Grasslands is. It's up in Westchester. You could probably look it up. I'm sure it's still in existence, but I don't know. They were nice. They didn't do nothing bad to me. But anyway, yeah. The trains, the Metro North trains would go up and down there, so I would write on them. And the whole reason for a graffiti writer, like I was explaining before, it's criminals that would write graffiti, and most of them are car thieves, stealing car radios, stick-ups. Not a lot of them were drug dealers too, but I really didn't. I never sold a drug a day in my life. I've robbed a lot of drug dealers. Hell, if you were a drug dealer up in Harlem and you got robbed by a white boy, chances are it was me or one of my friends. Straight up. Yeah. If you had a fucking shotgun put to your fucking head, it was probably one of us. That's the facts. You even asked Kevin Childs from Don Diva. Feds magazine? Yeah. He shouts us out. Yeah. Kevin Childs. He's from up in the Bronx. Kevin Childs. Yeah. But you write graffiti. So when, like I'm saying, the Metro North tracks, the New Haven line, people that are going up there like, oh shit, yo, fucking RD, or if they don't know me, the RDs are all over all these centers, these lockups, these compounds, these homes, these delinquent centers. I write my tag all through them. So now, and even if they actually never met me, they're up there looking at this shit, like, and then they're seeing it all over the trains, like the fucking Metro North tracks that are going down into the city. Whether you lived in 5 boroughs, you had to go down to get to the fucking city, because it's above the city. So yeah, then you're like, holy shit. And then if for some reason you hop on like a 6 train or something later on, you're like, oh shit. So yes, that is why I wrote graffiti, for that purpose. Later on in life on the streets, the same fucking reason. I just want people to be like, oh shit. I feel like when someone walks past an RD tag that knows me from some point in my life, this is what it is. Someone that knows me from one point in my life, whether it's a girl I went out with for a couple of years or a couple of days, or a friend I knew, or even a friend's brother. You know what I mean? Or someone that knows or met me or knows of me. And then they see that shit, they're like, this fucking guy, yo, I can't believe this motherfucker's still out there like that. You get me? That's why I continued on in the streets. I really believe it was a snooze fest after the subways went down. The subways was the fun. The subways were the graffiti. Anyone that tries to sell you any other story is full of shit. The fucking graffiti on the subways was the shit. Definitely. Yeah, that was graffiti in its purest form. To me. I mean, the guys before me, even, you know, I mean, I believe my era of writing graffiti, just like I've explained in the 60s, I'd get chased if I went up there 10 times. I'd literally get chased or raided like 7 times out of that 10 times I'm up there. Yo, you go back to like around the time when Style Wars, like a little earlier before me, yo, these people were up there fucking playing music and shit, fucking smoking weed, drinking, doing a whole cause, sitting there taking their time, doing burners and shit like that. Yeah, man. You think I'm shitting you, man? So when I was up there, nah, man, it was a whole different... It was, the Vandal Squad was around when those guys were doing it, don't get me wrong. But by the time I was out there hitting shit like that, hard body, the Vandal Squad had perfected their fucking meaning. Like they perfected their game, so to say. They had a lot of practice. So I believe the era of writing graffiti on the New York City subways was hardest at the very end. Just for the simple fact that it evolved. You know, the police skills, tactics, schemes have evolved. The ways people thought about writing graffiti on the subways have evolved. You know, it was all different. It wasn't all 100% different, but it's a million times different than what is going on in the streets today. It's night and day. It's almost like a different country if you were to see the two as I've seen them. Like through my eyes, if you could have seen graffiti evolve to what it's become, you'd be like, oh shit. I mean, honestly, never ever a day in my life that I think that I'd ever be able to actually sell what I would consider graffiti. You know, like something that I'm painting that is graffiti. I never, ever in a million years would think it would be worth something, nor would I even want to sell it. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I ain't no sellout. Yeah, that was the original shit. That was going on straight up and through the 90s and shit. And I was on that shit too. Yo, come on, man. Hey, look at him. Then he's selling out. But that was easy for me to say. I have a good job, you know. So I get it. You know, people sell art and this and that. And what it's become now is... it's not a replica of the past. Even the graffiti pieces and the walls and the murals and the legal stuff, the people that are still doing graffiti on walls, but like murals, like Tats Crew and people like that, the styles have evolved to something that would be physically impossible to do on a train. Like that style, like with that kind of time involved, you know. But then again, I can't say that because a lot of these guys are doing murals every week and they get very fast and efficient at it. So who am I to judge? I'm not out there doing that. But what I'm saying is graffiti died a long time ago. At least graffiti that I'm talking about. It's simply, I don't know why anyone in today's day and age would pick up a can of spray paint or a magic marker to write graffiti. I don't even believe it's about getting fame. It's, here, hold on, there's a truck going by out there. It's not about getting fame. It's about getting money. It's like the whole object has changed in the graffiti world. Like, I honestly could sit here and why write graffiti? It's like when I think to myself, why would someone start writing graffiti today? Why? They can't relive no glory days because they never had the glory days. You get me? And it's like, what we did, we probably wouldn't have been doing if we had cell phones and shit like that. You get me? It's almost like, getting back to this interview, and a lot of you guys have been asking me about it, with A-Life. When I had the sweatshirts and the little squishy fire hydrant things. Yeah, Jest. TVT, Rob. It was good. I had fun doing that. He's a good guy. I like him. So the last time I actually met Alpha Live was with Rob and them in A-Life. Yeah. That's the last time I saw Alpha Live. But anyway, like in that thing, I was explaining how, like, samurais were the thing for like hundreds of fucking years, and then all of a sudden the samurais like overnight were no longer needed and they were like wiped out and they were no longer existent. The same with the cowboys, like American fucking cowboys, you know, they were all over the place. It was a way of living. It was pretty much the way the country, America, was thriving, and the gold rush and everything. And soon behold, cowboys weren't needed no more. They discovered something called barbed wire. They started barbed wiring everything up. You look at America back then and America now with all these huge buildings and shit like that, and just how everything evolved. Well, it's the same with graffiti. Like, it's almost, graffiti's almost in no reason to do anymore. You get what I'm saying? It's like, where would be the goal? I mean, I guess if I was mad at someone and I wanted to fuck up their building or something, you throw a bucket of paint on their building, I get it. But other than that, like, there's no loop. There's no trophy. There's no crown. It doesn't exist. It don't exist. It can't. Like, what do? Go all city? Like, you get me? It's gone tomorrow. Like, literally, it's... Graffiti is a thing of the past. Like, graffiti, the shit that I'm fucking talking about. I'm not talking about running around doing murals and all this shit in Coney Island and Bushwick and shit. I'm talking about just getting your name up. Like, you can never outbeat any of the people that have been around before. Like, how the fuck can someone outbeat me, for instance? 41 fucking years. What can you possibly do in 10 years that could not? You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? Reinventing the wheel? Like, it doesn't work that way. It's like... Alright, it's hard for me to explain, man. I'm really stuck on this shit. But I got it in my head. It's just hard to whoop it out to you. Alright, who was it? Seal Alexi, I believe. First person he ever benched. I think he benched 500 pounds. First person ever. I'm not sure if it was Seal Alexi. I'm pretty sure. But, was it? Ah, fuck it. I'm going with Seal Alexi. If I'm wrong, fuck it. Comment. Call me an idiot. But I'm pretty sure Seal Alexi, first person to bench press 500 pounds. And what, like 2 weeks later, someone bench pressed 520. It was like the next year, someone bench 540. Now, just about every gym, I mean, Jesus Christ, that dude Skid bench fucking 500 pounds like it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, it's become that. Like, that's how graffiti has been. You know what I'm saying? It's not able to exist in society today. Like, running around writing tags all over the place. I mean, fill-ins definitely aren't going to make it. Tags, if you're smart, you could probably squeeze them in here and there. But it's just like, with all the cameras out there, and you got the internet and Instagram, and it's like, where is the fame in it? Like, when I was doing it, and I started out to do it, and my original reasons is, there was no such thing as beepers. Like, you didn't even have a cordless phone when I started out. I'm talking, you had a phone that had a long wire on it. You'd have to walk around the whole house with it. The cordless phone wasn't even invented yet. All right? This is way before beepers and all that shit. Like, you know, like dudes that were writing back then were like TDS, like part TDS. I mean, fucking amazing shit, man. It's like, that shit can't be done again. It's like, I guess what it is the future's not trying to do it again. And but it's almost like it should have its own label. I guess that would be what street art is considered. But it's like, I just don't see a purpose in it. Like, people are no longer hanging out on the street corner. They're home fucking with their computers. They're playing video games. So there's no more street kids. You get me? I mean, don't get me wrong. You still got criminals. You got motherfuckers out there stealing ID and doing all types of crazy shit and fucking around. Yeah, you still got criminals. But as far as it goes with the street kids sitting out there on the fucking curb there, you know, they're gone. And those are the people that the language was for. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like part of a reputation, like your tag. As like, oh shit, yo, RD, man, yo, motherfucker came off, yo, you saw where he went? Yo, that's some balls, bro. That's badass. That's balls. That's showing off, you get me? And I don't see it today. Like, I mean, alright. As far as it goes with like parkour or urban exploring, on Instagrams and YouTube and shit like that, you got people sneaking around, and I get that. You have the adrenaline junkies, they climb shit real high, and they video it, and it's cool, jumping out of planes and shit like that, or going deep underwater. Yeah, but where does graffiti sit in all that? Like, it's, you get me? Like, I don't see the purpose in it. Like, I know when I did it, and like I've explained, it was cord phones. Like, this is before the cordless phone, and it's like, yo, you might not see someone for weeks. You get me? It's not like you could just shoot them an email. It's like, yo, you would have to meet up through someone, and they would have to call you and remember your phone number or not lose it. Like, it's just written on a piece of paper. And it was almost not a form of communication, but it was a form of showing off. Like, yo, fucking RD, man, he did it again, yo, look at that shit, yo, that crazy bastard. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, oh shit, look, I don't want to fucking look RD again, oh shit, yo, when that motherfucker gonna grow up? You get me? It's like, yo, that dude, he's in it, you know? Yeah, that's what it was all about. But now what do you do? Like, times are different now. It's almost like, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. There's been times I've went out with girls. I could go out with a girl for years and not tell her I wrote graffiti a day in my fucking life. Just because it's kind of like stupid. Like, especially when you're in your 30s or 40s and you're going out with a girl that's like in her 20s or something like that. It's like, they don't even know about graffiti. I mean, they know about breakdancing or rap music or something, but graffiti, like, why would you do that? Like, to someone's property or something, you know? So I really kept it a secret from a lot of women I fucked around with. But with that token, I guess it's like, it's nothing to brag about nowadays. Like, there's nothing you can do to pass anyone. Like, there's no amount of damage any of you guys can do that could pass anyone that has done it before you. You see, now, in my era, I was able to surpass the people that were doing it before me. You get me? By just riding it out. Now, the way the city is now with all these cameras and the crime rate and people and see something, say something. Yo, I'm going to stop my subject for 1 minute. Yeah, they caught the fucking prisoners, the convicts, let's call them convicts. They caught the convicts that were on the run, and the guard, yeah, they caught their ass. And speaking of see something, say something, you saw that fucking hillbilly that caught them? Yeah, guy had a big beard and shit. Yo, he had no problem saying, I saw him, I got right on the phone, I called up, and I ratted them motherfuckers out. He's like, yo, give me the money. But yo, he's on national television like, you see something, say something. And yo, that is like, yo, in the 80s, that dude would not have done that. He'd be like, yeah, you know, give me my money all quiet like or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, man, that's wild. That's like the craziest shit. I'm like, whoa, he just fucked himself up, yo. What? Like, yo, he's on national, I got right in touch. I didn't even call the local police. I called you guys first. Like, he's dealing with a big old beard. It looks like that guy Risk on the West Coast that you guys are asking me about. Yeah, getting back to that and getting back to graffiti, I don't know nothing about the West Coast, man. I barely know what's going on in New York now, in the 5 boroughs here, honestly. I just, like I said, I honestly gave up looking at graffiti a while ago. The only time I look at it is if someone started going over me or something. I'd be like, oh, what the fuck's up with this asshole? You know, other than that, I really, like, it's not anything that, it's like, I guess time would be of an essence, and the cameras are in play. There's more police in the streets. I guess it's less time you have to do it, but yet your bubble letters are so complicated. You get me? I always kept my shit as plain and simple as possible, and that is to cut down on time, so I could write my shit quicker, do more of it, and not get arrested. But now what I'm noticing is it's more like like all this weird shit that's just a waste of paint. Like if you're just saying your name, but you're saying your name with style, but it's not style. It's like, it's hard to say, man. All right, it's like I see people that do pieces, right? They do pieces, graffiti pieces, and they suck. And I mean, these people have been doing this shit 20, 30 fucking years now, and they still suck. And I guess it's just you either have it or you don't. Like, I believe someone could go to school to learn to be a singer. But if they just can't sing, they just can't sing. Like, if they just don't have the pipes, you get me? Like, I don't think there's any teacher on earth that could make someone's voice sound soothing enough to sing if they don't have a soothing voice in the first place. You know, unless they go down a certain thing like Bismarcky or something like that, you know. But other than that, it's, yeah, like, I don't see, like, I see people doing fill-ins that really shouldn't be doing fill-ins. Like, it's like disgusting shit. Like, but then again, like, people like that are getting props. It's like graffiti went backwards. I've said this before, but I would, if I had a crystal ball and I saw what graffiti was turning into, I probably would have stopped 30 years ago, man. For real. Once the trains died, I probably would have stopped just like everybody else did. Honestly, yeah, that's what I would have done. I probably would have stopped. If I would have known, I'd be sitting here today how it is. But then again, I'm not saying I didn't have a good time. It was fun. It was a good journey. I enjoyed it. Would I do it all over again? In today's day and age, no. If I was to relive my childhood again, hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Shit yeah, I'd do it again. But to start like right now and think 41 years into the future, it wouldn't make it. You couldn't make it. I think it would be physically impossible for a human being to write 41 years starting today and writing 41 years. I believe just the modern technology right now, I believe a person would be caught within the first 5 years, 6 years. They'd be caught. Definitely. And they wouldn't be able to go any further than that. Yeah, by 5 or 6 years, they'd be so jammed up, they would have to change their tag. Because now it's like when you get caught, you get caught. You got me? Like, yeah, they got it. Like, it's the technology, and they tack everything onto you. So, yeah, you couldn't possibly do it. And then you got the buff. Everything is buff like the next day, at least around here, you know, in Manhattan. The majority of things that people see, other than like the real like ghetto areas where no one goes. And yeah, right, yeah, you'll stay up on some abandoned building somewhere downtown or up in Harlem or something. But even Harlem is very up and coming. The same with the Lower East Side. ABC Land, Alphabet City, that shit ain't all fucked up no more, man. You got models and shit living down there for the past 20-something years. Movie stars, everything living down there, yeah. Harlem's all beautiful now. East Harlem, very nice. West Harlem's been nice, man. Although West Harlem, it's been a little upticky. Around the 130s, 140s, yeah, a little bit wild. Yeah, but I mean with the whole pandemic situation, but before that, no, it was nice, very nice. It's just like there's no more street kids. Like hanging out to appreciate graffiti. It's almost like, alright, like the pandemic that just happened. I've seen so many beautiful opportunities just wasted on idiot shit, man. Like, seriously, I've come to the conclusion, just from watching where every single human being wrote, right now, just from watching this whole pandemic and seeing where every single human being wrote and how, like, they dropped the ball, they dicked it, they fucked up, they wrote where they shouldn't write. And it's, like, nowhere to be found. Like, that is the time that you... Yeah, I don't know, this video just shut down again. I guess it's 30 minutes. I forgot to look into it. Like I said, on this camera, for some reason, after 30 minutes, it shuts down. I got to go into its settings and see if I could change that somehow. But that's what just happened. And I believe I was talking about PJ, Comment, and them. They were on the 2s and 5s. Like, I realized, you know, my last video about the 2s and 5s, I left out a lot of people that I thought about later on, and I'll talk about them now. Of course, PJ, he's been on that shit a long fucking time. PJ, Cap says, like I said. Then you got that guy who was running around doing the Smurf faces, which is pretty cool. Al, he was also on the D's, I think. Al Rock. A-L-R-O-C. Al Rock. He used to hit the... He used to catch the D's also, Al Rock. I remember he used to get up on the insides of the D's at those tags. And he would also do the fill-ins, Al Rock. Who else? That was later on. That's 87, something like that. During that period of time, like I said, when I was fucking around at that last draw there. And you think who else? Yeah, Cope 2, I said him already. Alf, Tyke, Rhea, Med, M-E-D. He's kind of spread a few. Med and Fayde, F-A-Y-D-E. They were kind of early on, and they kind of went a little bit too. Gato is another one. Gato, he was hitting the 2s and 5s with Neo. My boy Neo, shout outs to Neo. Yeah, Gato, Neo. They were fucking around, crossing a lot of people out too. But Neo, N-O-G, Neo, MPC, and Gato also pushed MPC. I guess they bumped into them probably in the 2s and 5s. But yeah, not that new Neo guy running around. No, not him. Talking about Neo. Yeah, those guys had the 2s and 5s. John 1, he got him a little bit. He more or less stuck with the 1s, but no, he did get the 2s and 5s also. I think he had the 3s at the end, the bitter end. Yeah. Alright, yeah, that's about it, man. Yeah, let me wrap that episode up. Now, wait, one more thing. A lot of you were talking about the 2s and 5s, and a lot of you guys are asking me about MPC, the Graffiti Crew MPC, and about Cap. And as I've explained in my past videos, you know, I've bumped into a couple of those guys when I was in the 2s and 5s. And, no, I wasn't worried. And, alright, one guy said that would have been a cool mix. If I was down with MPC, I would not push MPC. I would never push that crew. Never, ever, ever a day in my fucking life. Straight up. You know why? I'm not from Morris Park. Why would I write Morris Park crew? No, I would never write that crew. And was I ever scared? No, I wasn't. Because I was by myself. And the 2 and the 5. Yeah, MPC or whatever. You gotta realize, man, I got long fucking arms. I'll stab the shit out of someone and fucking keep running and just stabbing and running and stabbing and running, man. Yeah, ain't easy to catch me. But, second off, I would have no reason to do that. I always had nothing but the utmost respect for Cap and them MPC guys. I actually liked their shit that they were doing, and I met them, I kind of told them, I don't give a fuck, you know. I mean, of course, the question came up, like, you know, who the fuck are you, and what do you write, and this and that, and I told them, I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing, man, you know. Hey, this shit ain't got nothing to do with me, and it's true, it ain't got nothing to do with me, man. I wouldn't join them just because I never write any crew, no disrespect to MPC, but no, I don't. Now, I also know they carry guns. Cap is known to carry a shotgun in the yard, so he'd probably just blow a hole in me. But yeah, I don't know. I never got to that. I would never have problems with them. I can actually show you a picture of me and Cap together, hanging out. Well, not hanging out, but we'll hold up something. We're standing next to each other. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Cap. I think he's the fucking coolest shit ever, man. You got to realize, he scrambled it up a little bit, man. Everyone was all nice and comfortable on them 2s and 5s and shit, doing all these pretty pieces and had no trouble and no worry in the world. And, you know, he went in there, he threw a monkey wrench at everyone's shit, man. He shut shit down. But you got to realize, too, you had problems in the 1 tunnel, too. You couldn't just go run around in there. You got them ball busters upstairs that come running down and kick your ass. Beat the shit out of you. Yeah, they'll fuck you up. Stab you. Yeah. So you have the ball busters on the 1s, and then you got Cap on the 2s and 5s. Someone actually asked me if Cap and MPC was friends with the ball busters. Totally different areas, to be truthful. You're the 1 train that way, 2s and 5s that way. Like that. So no, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know, but to the best of my knowledge, they never hung out. It was never rumored to me that way. I don't believe they knew each other. Mainly the ball busters were pretty much Spanish dudes from around the 140s, 130s on the Upper West Side. below Washington Heights, Polo Ground area-ish. Yeah. And Cap from the Bronx. MPC from up in the Bronx. But now I was never worried. I always, if you ever like hear my stories, I'm always 99, except for Tishman over here in my neighborhood, I would go by myself writing. Like almost all these stories, I'm by myself writing graffiti. When I go to the 2 and the 5 yard, I'm by myself. So when you go into a yard like that and you're by yourself, and you get surrounded, believe me, I got scars on my face from when I got caught out there in the A's and the C's, but I wasn't by myself there. I got caught out about 10, 15 dudes, man. Sliced my face open, the whole shit. We'll get to that one day. I've actually gotten into it before. But as far as it goes with, okay, now, how would that look? I'm up there. I'm in the 2s and the 5s this time. We run up, and what are they going to do? Beat me up? For what? That makes sense. It's like, I'm aware of my actions. You got me? It's not like I'm with someone else that's going to mouth off and get us all stabbed or shot or beat up or something. You know, I'm in control of my actions. It is what it is. Like I said also, it's not easy to actually grab me. And I could sense hostility real quick. Like I said, I'm able, I got good body language. I could read people very well. It comes from scheming your whole life. From being out there, you're just getting by, you know? Yeah, you learn a fucking couple things. I never worried about that shit. I never worried about it. But it has happened. It has happened. I've explained to you when I was out there in Brooklyn, these Italians bashing my head off the fucking concrete floor, the sidewalk there, yeah? I just said I got my face sliced open with a bunch of Dominicans up on 175th Street in the A-tunnel. Yeah, it's not foolproof. The plan is not foolproof, but it seems to work for me. Yeah, I'm by myself. I mean, there's no points in that. What are you going to jump someone by themselves? What, fight me a fair one? We'll do it. Fair one. What? I lose? Okay. You lose? Okay. Whatever. Hey, let's go paint graffiti now, you know? Yeah, it was never that big a deal. Now, when you're up in someone's yard, like now, if I'm up in the 2s and 5s and I'm with 4 or 5 other people, then, yo, that's an aggression. Then, yeah, shit could go bad fast. You get me? Because now it's like, oh, wait a minute, you got an army with you, motherfucker. You get me? So, yeah, I'm always pretty much by myself. You know, I come in peace. You know? No, dead serious, man. You think I'm bullshitting you, man? Fucking hey. I come in fucking peace. I got no problems, man. You know? I would like to, you know, MPC and stuff like that. I liked them. I had no problems with them dudes. They were very nice. They were cool dudes. They all weren't white either. I think one of them was an Indian. One of them looked like a damn Indian. Yeah. But actually, I'll put a picture on of me and Cap next to each other. My boy Rebel, NSA, Ronnie, he took that picture. Yeah, a little while ago, probably younger looking. But yeah, I could put that picture on. I would jump around. Where else I used to go and bump into people? I can't fucking remember. I've been to so many different... Like, yo, I was just, what, a couple episodes ago, I was out in Brooklyn getting my head beat up and kicked in by Italians. Then I'm up in Morris Park. Like, yo, I was around, man. I fucking was out there, yo. That's why I'm like, when I hear all these people telling these crazy stories about shit, I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of here. I ain't start seeing your ass up until 2000. You know what I mean? No, for real, yo, I ain't shitting you. That's what got me on here, man. I did say that, too. After my arrest, I said that shit. I said, all right, motherfuckers. Now it's time for me, like, I'm bagged, man. I got busted. So now, you know, it's time for me to tell my side of the story, you know? And the time has come. Yeah, you know, I can't go sitting there harping about shit when I'm actually out there doing illegal activity. So, you know, I sat in the shadows and I waited. And I sat there and I waited. Now my moment has come. I sit here and I'm telling you all how it was. You know, you heard all these people with all their fancy books and this and that and just straight up excluding me from the fucking culture. Meanwhile, I've actually wrote more graffiti than most of them people's whole crews put together. Yeah, you take one of them fucking crews. Any one of them fucking crews. I'm not even picking on one crew. You take any one of them fucking crews and you crunch them up into one fucking person, I did more fucking graffiti than them. believe that shit, man. Yeah, I'm sorry, but a lot of people also say to themselves, oh, well, you know, this, that, blah, 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 you know, RD, you know, blah, blah, blah. You go on and on and on about something weird. What was it with the whole fucking thing? I don't even know how to word it. You know, fuck it, man. It don't matter. I've put a good episode together here for you guys. But, yeah, someone did... I'll go back into it. Why start on it now? I'll just pick it up on my next thing. But what was it again? Well, you know, something about, well, they were saying that Cap would, if he caught me in that yard, he'd do this to me, he'd do that to me. And I don't know. I don't think that to be true. I mean, who knows? It didn't happen. You know, that's like sitting there saying if Batman met Superman, you know, or whatever the fuck you want to say, you know. Like if Jimi Hendrix didn't die when he died or something, you know. You're talking about like weird shit that never happened. And I get it. I remember when I was younger, I used to do that. I'd be like, wow, if I was invisible, I'd walk right into the bank and I'd take big bags of money, you know, like if only I could be invisible, like you got me, or if I could live forever, you know. Hey, I've done it, but yo, don't do that shit on my fucking YouTube channel, right? It leaves room for speculation, right? But no, let me show you something, all right? This is what I've been working on. I showed it to you a little while ago and it was blank, so now I actually got something on it. Hold on a second here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but, you know, like I said before, you see this is actually a mailbox door. You see the door here? Let's see, can you see it? A little bit. Let me go like this. You see it? It's a fucking mailbox door. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but see, he's inside the mailbox. Like if you look here, and then this piece here, I don't know if you can actually see it on the camera, but he's inside the fucking mailbox. But in all reality, it's a fucking U.S. mailbox. Okay? You can see the fucking U.S. mail. This shit might be a felony. Let me be quiet. All right, people, have a good one. Shit just dawned on me, like U.S. mail. Bloop, bloop. All right, guys, there you go, all right? You have it all there. You saw my artwork and everything. And yeah, as far as it goes, like I was saying with the MPC and stuff like that, I wouldn't have problems with them. I have no reason to have problems with them. They don't mess with me, I don't mess with them. And Cap, nowadays, he don't even associate himself with those MPC guys. I mean, I guess his general group of people he's still in touch with and stuff. But, you know, like the original dudes like Slip and Colt and stuff like that, the old school guys. I mean, Cap is old school too, but, you know, the guys that started it and all, I think it's some kind of falling out or something like that between them. But I think Cap, I mean, I liked a lot of them, Colt and Slip, and they were doing some pretty interesting stuff. We're definitely doing a lot of, like, whole car under the window stuff. And it was 2 on a fucking whole car. It was not like 5 different people, just 2 nice things. I remember the Slip with the holes in it. It reminded me of like a rock and roll album cover, the way they wrote it. Or like how the Doors is written, you know, the rock and roll group, the Doors, Jim Morrison, the D-O-O-R-S, with the split in it. I remember they did it like that, Slip, Colt. Yeah, those guys. So yeah, they go way, way, way back, those guys. And I don't know, Cap, he don't even like being associated with those people anymore. Last time I spoke to Cap, he's like, you don't fuck with that shit. So you have that, you know. And I've always liked Cap stuff. I'm a big fan of his shit. But I don't know, I guess the way you guys ask it is, well, one people was like, wow, that would have been cool if you got down with MPC. And like I've explained, I wouldn't have pushed it. And the other thing was that if Cap caught you, they'd probably fuck you up. I don't know what would happen. And I've answered both the questions. The truth of the matter is, I ain't gonna run away. So, I mean, I'll run and stab, run and stab, run and stab, but do what I gotta do. But, I mean, you know, you can never count me out. Can't count him out either, right? You know, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's weird questions to ask me, but I answered them for you to the best of my knowledge. I mean, he's older than me. I'm bigger than him. He runs around with a shotgun. I run around with a knife. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, so I'd lose there. I mean, you know, if we're just sitting here talking like, you know, who would win, Batman or Superman or something like that, or what's your favorite comic book villain or something, if we're just sitting here tossing around, what would it be, stats? Yeah. One thing I'll say about it is, if there was some kind of MPC 357 marriage, it definitely would have went through more lines. The subways, it wouldn't have just, see, the MPC, they really did just stay with the 2s and 5s. They poked around the 4s a little bit here and there, maybe a couple of D trains, but yeah, if my people were involved, we would have more access to other lines, so to say. Yeah. For that, it would have been interesting. But it's almost a different era, too, because 357 itself didn't come around until 85. To be true for you, Cap and them were winding down around 85. I mean, I was writing before that, but I'm talking about when 357, the crew was created. Yeah, 85-ish. Yeah. So it's almost a different era. But those dudes were wild, man. They lost a lot of people, too, like Rook. He passed away, AD, I believe. This other guy, AD. I believe he was with Crook. He's got like black hair. Who else? A couple of them guys passed away young age, just like my people. Like JJ357, he died at 17 years old. I don't know, these guys couldn't have been much older either. You know, themselves. Some of them are pretty young. At least when it hit my ears that people had passed away, I was still young, so I would assume that they were young, because, you know, so, yeah, it's very similar. I mean, I've sat down and thought about it. I think my people, 357, this has got nothing to do with MPC or anything, but if you think about it, we probably got more people that are actually incarcerated in prisons or dead, yeah, than any other graffiti crew, I'd say. Probably so, yeah. More incarcerated and dead. More people, more like people I was with are either dead or murdered, or in jail for murder, or in jail for other things that they probably won't ever get out for. There's a couple of us that's not in that situation, but, and it's pretty much probably the same with MPC if you really sit down and think about it. They're just street kids, just a different area, a different neighborhood. So it's, you know, in you guys' minds, like putting that together in your heads, it really just probably the same as us, like MPC and 357, or at least let's put it this way, Cap's MPC, like his group of MPC, and Lace and 357, so to say, very similar, a very similar animal if you think about it. Now Slip and Cult's MPC was different. It wasn't the warmongering machine that it became under Cap's watch. So I think it's pretty much the same type of thing. The same type of people, criminals, same age group. Also, it seemed like no real ethical backgrounds, really. I mean, my people mainly, of course, because we're from Yorkville, there's a couple of Germans, a few Irish. I don't think there's any full-blooded Italians. There's a couple of them. Yeah, but Puerto Ricans, we got a couple of black guys, a few Chinese. We got a Japanese, Jewish guy. Yeah, we have it all. Like the fucking UN. And I think, from what I remember, like I said, those guys are pretty much the same. And I mean, I also, Safin is another dude. He used to write Flip 3, but he's not really down with those dudes, but he's still the same area, the same type of dude. D Wild Style was my boy Tommy's cousin and them, you know, Johnny Irish. Yeah. It's all the same type of characteristics in a human. Yeah. All right, people. Take care of yourselves. I'll put the picture on.